Good morning, my friends, and welcome to this worship time for our Swedenborg Chapel community. I really thought I'd be taking a break this morning and that I wouldn't be offering anything until I received a gift from a mentor and friend of this book by Steven Charleston, who is an elder, a Native American elder, and also an Episcopal priest, like my husband, who I know many of you know. And he also served as the Bishop of Alaska for some time, which I have some special connections there, as that is where my husband and I started out our married life, and I was able to serve in an Episcopal church in Alaska for a couple of years. But I didn't really know much about him until I was gifted this book, and quickly have been brought to tears by it, and felt that it would be meaningful to share with all of you this morning as well. It seems that perhaps Steven Charleston and I are on a similar journey, and that he might have something to tell us and help us with in our work of thinking anew about what this new church is that we are called to. So what I've done is I've recorded some of the passages, some of my favorite passages from the book, added some visuals to it for those of you who who are affected by visual media, and that will be our meditation for today. I invite you to listen deeply to his words. They are very wise and they are full of love, and where he draws on his Native American heritage, he really points to a future reality that looks and feels very much like the new church that I am starting to feel and to know more closely, and wanting to work to bring into, I know, our community at the chapel and, of course, the world at large. So I hope that his meditation moves you as much as it did me. And I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to let his words, his prayers, his heart speak for us today. We'll then end with a meditation piece from Angela. And I pray that this speaks to you today, and that this might be just enough spiritual nourishment to get you through this week. And I, again, just really appreciate the patience that you are all offering me as I wade in the water of uncertainty, with hope and faith. So let us listen to Steven Charleston's words from his book, Ladder to the Light. Many blessings, friends. Into every life come moments when sound slips to silence, when motion slows to pantomime, when the hard reality of this life blurs into the softer outline of the sacred. What is holy is not distant, but imminent. What you reach for in prayer is already in the palm of your hand. We are not mystics on a lonely summit, but common laborers in the fields of wonder. Feel the presence of the Spirit in the room where you are sitting. Feel the energy of the Spirit moving around you. You have dual citizenship in the land of earth and heaven, being both now and coming to be, being made of mud and stardust, being a child who is so soon an elder. In this book, I have boldly claimed to have received messages from the Spirit. Does that mean I am special? No, just the opposite. It means I am common. Because every person receives messages from the Spirit, even if they do not always see them clearly or understand their full meaning. The path to our liberation is in understanding that the spiritual life is not reserved for a few holy individuals or a particular religious community. Hierarchy and competition are not the way to the future. That path is for all of us. family of humanity, to recognize the dignity of every person who seeks a deeper meaning and a higher purpose. That is what the ladder of light symbolizes, the journey each of us makes down into the heart of meaning and back up to the land of purpose. We may have different ideas about the source of our inspiration. We may worship in different ceremonies and pray with different words. That is a given, because we understand and accept diversity as part of our nature, as the tribe of human beings. Those differences can be the subject of conversation for another time. But for now, in these days of darkness, we need to be about healing ourselves from past conflicts and empowering one another for the shared struggle we all face together, the struggle to bring peace, justice, and healing into our world. Long ago, my ancestors made a spiritual discovery. They learned how to live a spiritual way of life that allowed every individual the right to be who they were, while at the same time bonding them together into a powerful sense of a community, individual freedom and respect, communal identity and action. The Native American experience is the experience of balance. It is a living example of how a diverse group of people can become a unified family. This offers hope to us in these troubled days, not as an escape into some mystical realm of shamans, but as a practical model for what we need to achieve if humanity is to live in peace and the earth is to be renewed. We need to achieve balance, the common sense spiritual equilibrium that allows people to celebrate a personal faith while living into a communal vision. Each rung on the ladder to the light can be experienced and interpreted by every person who climbs it. The important thing is that we climb it together, and that in doing so we move in the same direction towards peace and the preservation of our environment. Rather than standing in the darkness, squabbling over our politics and religion, we could be climbing together to find shared solutions. Native American tradition and history show us that it is not only possible, but relatively simple. It is as easy as saying a single invocation. I believe we are all the same. We must give one another hope by giving permission to speak of our visions, those intimate things we see when we look through the eyes of faith. We have all had spiritual visions. We have all glimpsed what we think is wondrous, beautiful, and holy. We have found our hopes suddenly incarnated. They are images that may last only briefly. Spiritual visions are deeper than doctrines. They are untamed and unmanaged. They do not necessarily conform to any religious dictionary. By releasing them, by giving one another the freedom to speak in a visionary way, we open a channel for human beings to share in transformation. My ancestors painted their dreams on their houses for all to see. It was their way of saying, "This is me. This is what I believe. Therefore, this is what I see." In the same way, we must be transparent in our own faith, willing to take the risk of telling others what the Spirit has shown us through a lifetime of our experience. Our minds were not made to be squeezed into shape, like feet into shoes a size too small, where they are forced to conform and cannot move. Minds that are told they know all the answers are starved of questions. Minds that are trained to repeat only formulas make no discoveries of their own. It is possible for a mind to memorize every word of Holy Scripture and not know what it is saying. No, our minds were made to move, to change, to grow. We thrive on questions and live in difference. Not being sure is only an invitation, not a fault. The human mind is a beachcomber, not a paperweight. So here is another heresy. If the shoes are too tight, kick them off and run barefoot for a while.